now. So we're going to clap, make sure that we're good for the recording. Thank you for the claps. Hello and welcome into the second ever episode of Supper with the Squad, a podcast where once a week we take a member of the community and try to get to know them better.
I haven't even
Nothing like
yet.
scuffing. Nothing like scuffing that. Trying to get to know them better with the most ridiculous questions possible. I'm your host, Rabbit, and I'm joined today by my good buddy and co-host. You probably know him best as the Rock stunt double, but I just call him Smitty. Welcome in, Smitty. Anything you want to say?
He's the biggest bird.
We'll have a good one today.
Facts. 100%. We're also joined today by a very special guest. He is one of the most intriguing people in the community. One that is never shy to give his raw opinion and certainly thinks much of his sniping skills. Please welcome Berta, a.k.a. Milldawg Wade.
Welcome in. If you don't get anything else from this is all that matters.
Welcome in, Wade. So I don't know if you saw the first episode that we had with Alan. So basically, we're trying to get to know everyone better and want to start it off with kind of getting to know your origin story. Like where were you born, towns, family, size, all that kind of stuff. So we'll let you have the floor and you give us anything that you're like, okay, that's pertains to it. Also, obviously, we're recording, so don't dox yourself. So.
I live in Georgia. Go Dogs. I live in North Georgia. I live in the northwest part of Atlanta. Go Dogs. I come from a mutter. I was born in Snellville, Georgia, at the old Snellville General. I don't even know if it still stands anymore, but yeah, man. 1993. I'm a June baby. I'm what them crazy chicks will call Gemini. Apparently that means I'm crazy, but yeah, I was born at 10:45 in the morning. So
there you go. Yeah,
morning baby.
Morning baby.
Oh yeah, man. There's a reason I'm an all day kind of person.
And like family wise, like siblings.
So I have an older brother who's 2 years, 3 months, and 12 hours older than me. Okay. We broke it down. I don't know. We just did it. And I got a stepbrother. He's my stepdad's son, and my mama is my brother's mom. Different dad for Kyle, older brother. But I've got a couple of siblings from my biological father. I've only met one of them, but yeah, I've got quite a few. She's cool. She lives in Central Georgia. Yeah.
Cool. When you were growing up, like single family home, apartment, what was the housing situation?
Well, at first we lived in a duplex in Winder. We called it the Yellow House because kids in colors and stuff. I went to Holzenbeck Elementary School. I got in trouble for repeating Jack's line when he touches the cold water in Titanic. The O-S word.
Yeah.
It's freezing outside, and naturally,
okay,
I pick up on things.
Wait, how old were you when you said
that? Like, I think this is probably 98. So I was 5. Yeah, ripe young age. Oh yeah. You'd think I was, from. Anyways, we're not gonna go there. Rotad. Yeah, and then my dad was an 18-wheeler driver. He drove trucks for 30 years or something like that. So he was gone a lot, and that was an interesting dynamic because my dad is also kind of mean sometimes, as a dad should be. Your dad should never be like the most kind person every single day of the week. But I would be so mad when he'd be home. And then as soon as he walked out the door, I'd cry. Like, I'd miss my dad. He was the first fatherly figure, other than my grandpa, of course, but like household male figure that was there for me. So that was really cool. And then we moved a lot. Lord knows, I don't really think I can. I think it's like 7 or 8 elementary schools, like 4 different middle schools. And once we got put in 7th grade, I stayed in one spot until 2.5 years ago. So I mean, it was nice to be able to stay put there. But I mean, I've stayed in extended stay hotels with my whole family. We had 5 plus dogs. I've stayed in just actual motels and hotels. At my grandparents. I mean, I moved a lot. So before my mom met my dad, I lived with my grandparents. I talked to my grandparents every single day, well, as often as I can. My older brother had some health issues when he was born, so you'd never know because that dude is the opposite of me. Like I'm tubby, and he's like shredded. He looks like Henry Cavill, like as Superman. But yeah, he had some health issues when he was born, so my mom had a lot of stuff she had to do with him for a few years. So my grandmother was basically like my second mom. So I talk to her as often as I can. Call them every single day. They're great people. I keep trying to tell them, like, hey, when you guys pass away, you should put me in the will for the house, But yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, you said when your mom met your dad. So are you referring like your stepdad?
Yeah, I don't know my biological father, so
Okay. Yeah.
I've only talked to him on email because he's legally died twice according to the IRS.
That's noteworthy for us for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Thanks, baby.
I reached out to him. It was just like, hey, are you dead? And he's like, no, I'm alive. And I was like, cool. Child support. I talked to him a few times. He's just woe is me character. Everybody's out to get him. Can't do anything. Nothing's his fault. Can't do anything right. Yeah, but my mom met my stepdad, who I call my dad, when I was 4, and they got married when I was 5. So that's when all the crazy influences and stuff happened.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I don't have everyone up. Everyone in chat, feel free to ask questions and comment, but I only have the 3 of us up, so I can't see who is doing it. So my apologies, guys. But how about like the size of what was the size of the town that you grew up in? Like a majority of your life.
So the majority was Forsyth County, Georgia.
Okay.
I don't care if I tell you guys where I'm from; it don't bother me.
Sure.
Yeah. When I first moved up there, it was tiny. Everybody knew everybody. Smitty knows all about it. Yeah, Smitty's from around where I'm from. And like Alpharetta, now it's wild. There's so many people. Yeah, so I graduated, like you guys last week were talking about Alan. He graduated with like 70 people or some small number like that. I graduated with 500 people. I went to
like your graduating class was 500 people.
Something like that. It was huge.
Oh yeah, that's a big school. Yeah.
Yeah, we were 6A, which is like the largest you can get in Georgia. Huge.
But your town was small. Okay, so you're saying when
I first moved there,
okay,
yeah, it blew up.
Okay.
Yeah, they built 5 more high schools since I left.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Again, public school the whole way through.
Yeah. I wish I would have done another form of schooling because I'm not trying to say that I'm super smart, but I mean, I'm super smart. So like, I learned extremely fast, and I struggled in school because I would fall asleep because it was so boring. I'd get 100 plus every extra credit score all the way up to my senior year. Minus like 1 or 2 classes, and that's just from the lack of actually understanding because the teacher didn't teach. I never got pushed academically, which is one of the reasons I enjoy my job now, because it challenges me to be a wordsmith, if you will. I really enjoy it.
All right. Well, this is a perfect time for this question. Do you remember? Did you take SATs, ACTs, anything like that?
I took the SAT. I never took the ACT because.
Yeah, I mean, normally you do one or the other.
I was 2 points away from a perfect score on the writing portion because they added that.
You remember the total score?
No, I know that I was in my high school's Hall of Fame. They had like a Hall of Fame, and our colors were purple, silver, and black. And I don't remember which one was the highest, but I was in the highest tier.
Okay.
I had a very high SAT score.
Nice.
I had a higher SAT score than my brother, who's a doctor.
That's dope.
Ooh,
nice.
Right.
Yeah. High school mascot.
Raider.
Raiders. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's respectable.
Oh,
yeah. No, all about
What was funny is when I graduated, they came out with the new mascot, like the new like image of the mascot, and it was Zorro basically. And I'm like, that's not a Raider.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not. That's very different. Smitty, you got some origin questions?
yeah, we'll keep it with school. Did you play any sports?
I played football. I ran track. I tried out for basketball when I was in middle school. I have like wrist flexibility issues, so like I couldn't do underhand layups because I just can't get my wrist to do that movement. So I didn't make it. I remember I went to intramural basketball in middle school, and one of the coaches was like, he may not be the best player, but he out hustles everybody on this team, and that's a shame because that man loves to play. Shout out to Coach Turner. He was a great dude. Still is. I just haven't seen him in 20 years.
Sure.
Football was more my thing. I did track for kicks and giggles. I did shot put and discus. I was awful at discus. I went to state and shot put. And once I got to state and I realized that there's people that are like, oh, this is another level. Because I didn't really care. I mean, I did it for give me something to do after school.
Sure.
Football was my real love, though. Unfortunately, some injuries took place my senior year, and I just couldn't play. My coach was kind of. He thought he was playing 40 chess, but he was playing sideways checkers. Like he just did not have it, and he's an extremely rude person. And he was just like, I don't have room for injured players on my program. Like you can't be a part of the team programs. You can't do any of the events. I was like, cool. Well, I'm done, and like, see ya, deuces.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When I reached out to the assistant coach when I joined the military, I was just like, hey, I'm reaching out to you because I'm like your boss. I respect you. But I'm joining the military, and a lot of it had to do with like what you instilled in us. Maybe a little bit of wordsmith there, but like I just wanted to let him know that I cared about his standpoint, his views, and let him know that he was an influential person on me. I remember going up to all my teachers and just being like, "Hey, you're a great person. You really you've inspired me to be something different, and I really appreciate that." So I joined the military, and they were like, well, "You? Like you joined the military? Like, are you sure you're okay?" It was fun.
So you joined military right after high school.
I tried, but I was too fat, so I had to lose weight.
Okay. So did you do something like in the like interim time in between that?
I did Zumba. So
Okay.
I can. My hips don't lie, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than curve. So.
Yeah, man. I did Zumba, and my Zumba teacher was smart. She was like, "You're standing at the front of the class," and I was just like, "Oh, okay." And I worked out 2 to 3 times a day. I was running 20 miles a day almost, trying to get into shape for the boot camp. And
Sure.
yeah, man, I went from around 320 to 196 in about 7 months.
Wow.
I lost a lot of muscle, but I was what you would call skinny fat. I was itty bitty, but like I didn't have any muscle on me, so I had to make skin and fat. And I gained like 25, 30 pounds in boot camp from like actually eating and working out the right way.
Right. That my best friend from college, he decided afterwards to go into the army. He's always been short and chubby, very lovable, like salt of the earth, like has the room rolling. But so when he decided to join, we were all like kind of shocked, and he passed all the stuff, passed everything except the weight thing. And the weight thing came back, and he comes back to my wife and I, who were both good friends with him, and he goes, turns out my neck's too thin. And I said, what? He goes, well, yeah, he goes, they do it based off of your waist to your neck. And he goes, and for the size of my waist, my neck's too thin. And I said, no, your gut's too big. It has nothing to do with your neck. So so they had him go wait 6 months, and then 6 months later he was in better shape, and so he was able to go. But
by the way, Smitty, Broderick Jones just got drafted by the Jets. Go Dogs.
There you go.
Good pick.
Smitty, you got another one?
So how long were you in the military though?
Little under 5 years. Um, I was trying to reenlist, but that just wasn't in the cards. I was never given an exact answer. I was kind of had things alluded to. Um,
Mhm.
Life's been great since, but yeah, I was in over four. I was extending till my fifth, and then I was reenlisting and trying to go over to good old Spain. They have a naval station in Rota, Spain, and I was going to go over there. Uh, Latin culture is my favorite culture in the world, uh, so I wanted to go and be a part of that. It's even in westernized areas, it's still different than being like we talked about this the other night. You can travel to like Chinatown, and you're still getting America. So it's cool to be able to go to other countries because you get like the Americanized influence, but it's not America. It's and if you've been to another country, you would understand. It's pretty wild.
Mhm.
I know
Mm.
Dirtbag
Yeah.
knows all about that.
Yeah, and I have no doubt. Um, so like when you were a kid, like what would be like vacations be like for you guys?
Vacation.
You can
Man.
answer that with a question mark. But yeah,
Uh, we went to Myrtle Beach. I want to say maybe twice.
okay.
It was always with my aunt and uncle. Like my mom and dad came with us, but we always went with other people, other members of my family. We didn't really do much vacation. Like I remember my mom was like, "I just can't do anything for you guys for spring break, so we're gonna go to this rinky-dink podunk skating rink and go skating." And I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome. Let's go." Yeah, we just didn't do a lot of vacation or vacationing, I should say. It was uh, it was an easy lifestyle. Uh, my dad works a lot. Like even now, I wouldn't be surprised if he's working right now, and it's almost 10 at night. So yeah, we didn't really do much. My vacation times are spent hanging out at the house playing PlayStation 2, my Xbox 360, or going to my grandparents' house and causing a ruckus there. I almost burnt their living room down in elementary school. So
Let's
Nice.
let's continue that if you would like to.
so I'm not a pyromaniac. I just really enjoy fire. I don't like. Oh, I don't.
That's a nuance
Can't
there,
like.
but sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't obsess over it like a pyromaniac would, but I
Yeah.
do like fire. Um, just as like I like water. Like if anyone asks like what my favorite element is it's water because I'll explain that in a little bit. But yeah. So I'm sitting there in the living room watching Dragon Ball, at my grandparents' house. I rolling up this tissue paper and I was lighting it on fire and blowing it out because, well, I had control over it and I thought I was awesome until it got to the bigger part of the tissue and then I couldn't blow it out. And then I was like, oh God, it's going to burn my hand. So I dropped it and the carpet caught on fire.
Oh,
And I'm like yelling at my brother. I'm like, we are so effed. We are effed. And my brother's laughing, crying, laughing because he's like, I'm not, you are. So I do what any person does. I think I'm going to outsmart somebody. So I call my dad, who my mom and dad at the time, they weren't split up, but like financially, they just weren't living together. So I call my dad. I'm like, hey, how do I clean this up? How do I make this look? Not thinking that my dad, would tell my mom. And I found out in my adult years that it was my dad that ratted me out. Like I had no idea. I was just like, how did my mom know? So he like go under the sink. There's this, there's that, there's this, and I cleaned it out. And I remember looking at it and be like, yeah, you really can't tell. You can't tell that like there's the burn mark. I mean you could, but
yeah.
I was
Mhm.
in my brain saying, oh, you got this. Good job, dude.
Right.
When my mom comes home and she walks right up to the spot, and she's like, what is this? And I was just
Ooh.
like, how'd you find out? Yeah, good times.
Smitty, you got another?
How old were you when this happened?
Uh,
27.
third or fourth grade, maybe. I'm trying to remember
Ooh.
where I was, like which school I was at that time. If I was at Rock Springs, I was in second or third. But I don't think I was in Newton County yet. So I want to say I was third or fourth grade, or second or third grade. Miss Gagan or Miss Phillips' class.
Yeah.
Playing with lighters.
And we can come back to more similar kind of questions, but like what was how did you come to know Christ? Like did your family go to church when you were growing up?
My mama talked about it, but no, I was always the one. See, the church like youth programs get you. If you behave, you may be the one to win the candy today. So I was always the one that was like, oh, I'm going to be quiet while I'm in church today. I'm going to behave. So I always wanted to go to church, but I always enjoyed like the message that church had. Right? I always, because even as a kid, you understand that like there's somebody that loves you. There's
Yeah.
somebody who's kind, who's patient. You don't necessarily understand what's going on. You're just like, oh, it's like my mom sometimes. You know. It was like an October night, 7th grade, like early 7th grade. I had just moved to Forsyth County, and my family couldn't afford to like feed us all the time, so they would take us, or they would have this van come and get us and take us to a little Baptist church called Harmony Grove Baptist Church. And my older brother and I and younger brother, we'd go up there just to eat cheeseburgers because they'd get cheeseburgers from Wendy's, and we'd play basketball and we'd sing or whatever. And I remember one time I got invited to go on a Sunday, and I was kind of like, okay, I'll go. And he's one of those like preachers that yelled. He'd be like, "Lord, save me!" No, not just it. And you couldn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
And he'd start crying. He'd had to wipe his face down nonstop. And I was just kind of like, what a goober! Like this guy's silly, and I would cry laughing because it was hilarious to me. Well, one night, this guy, his name is Jeff Wilkie. He shows up, and they teach us on Wednesdays stuff, but he taught this message that he didn't get overly emotional. He like stayed calm, and like I could understand what he was saying. And I remember just being like, yo, like the gravity of my situation is crazy because like I'm gonna go to hell. Like I'm like not good. And they were talking about like the metaphorical, like Jesus is knocking on your heart. And I just remember like I couldn't stand. Like I remember just feeling overwhelmed with the Holy Spirit and just being like, yo, what happened here? Like what's going on here? And what's crazy is like everybody in the room knew that what was happening to me other than me. Like everybody. So, I'm waiting for everybody to get out. Like I'm cutting corners with the story, obviously, but I'm sitting there waiting for everybody to get out of the church pews. And I walk up to him and I'm talking to him. And I'm just like, yo, this really just happened, like life-changingly different. And he's just like, well, I mean, do you know what that means, right? And I was just like, yeah. And he's like, well, can you turn around and tell everybody? And I turn around and like all like 200 people that, the staff and all the kids and everybody's there. And I was just like, Jesus Christ is the Lord of my life. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, I don't even know how I said it. And I mean, it really drastically changed my life that night. I stopped going to that church, because it wasn't my church, I was just going there for being a guest so they could feed me. And then I started going to First Baptist Coming, or First Baptist Upcoming. And that's where I really started to grow. The unfortunate side effect is some of it was vain, some of it was vanity, pride, self, like almost like arrogance. And I was serving because I felt called to do it, but I was also getting this satisfaction of knowing that people cared about me and like saw me. And like I've always been like the giving, kind, loving, and caring person, like even to my detriment. So I would do that, and then I got this really positive reaction from people for the first time, and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna keep doing that, not because the Lord wants me to, but because I like being liked. And then I noticed when I graduated high school that it just got different. People really stopped paying me attention, and I struggled, because after high school I joined the military and I did some crazy things. I'm not even ashamed of it, but just some shameful things that I did overseas. Things are legal that aren't legal here, and yeah, I mean, just like all sorts of crazy stuff took place. And I always had that fallback, like, oh well, I'm saved, like Jesus is the Lord of my life. But I said it and I knew it, but I didn't follow it. I didn't live it out. So I was what I'd like to refer to as the bus ticket Jesus believer. I accepted him into my heart. I accepted him into my life, and I lived it. And then Satan started talking to me, and I started going like, Hold on, God. What's up? Oh yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go do this with this guy for a little bit. I'll be back. And drugs and alcohol and like premarital issues started taking place. Just all sorts of sinful things. I'm trying to keep it PG. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well,
if it slips out, you're good. You're good.
Well, I mean, this is the benefit of working in politics. You get the opportunity to talk without saying bad things.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean,
we're not overly concerned. So.
Yeah, I just, and it's funny because I was talking to my aunt today about it. I was just like, I haven't smoked in years because I was big on like weed. I smoked a lot of pot. And I told her, I was like, one of the craziest things is like days would fly by, like they would melt together, and before you know it, it wasn't just days or weeks or months, it was years of my life that I dedicated to getting high just so I could not have responsibility or function, just make enough money to pay rent, pay bills, and buy more weed. And I don't know, man, I got miserable, and I started noticing a huge change in me. Like, for starters, I got fat. Like, I got out of the military and I weighed like 260, but like for you guys who've seen all the photos I've posted in chat, 230 for me is bone skinny. So I noticed that I was getting up there. I was like 275, and I was just like, what's going on? So I started training in martial arts and like jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, or wrestling, you name it. I was trying it and doing it, and I did it for a while. And I started getting back into shape, but I kept smoking. And then I mean, it got to the point where I drove for Uber, and like I couldn't do anything with my life. Like, I was like, I'd rather just stay home and get stoned than drive. And I mean, it'd be all day, every day. I mean, I made it something I worshipped, and realistically, it was something I started realizing that I was reaching for something that nothing could give me back. And I moved to my now old ex-roommate's house. First off, like, our landlord was like, "Oh yeah, you guys, you gotta go. This is part of life." And then my parents looked at me and were like, "You're not coming with us. Like, you're 27, so it's time to grow up." And I was like, "Okay." So I moved in with my ex-roommate, and I was there for a little over 2-3 weeks, and I had stopped buying weed, but I had just a grinder full left, and I was smoking out of the window in my room. I took the screen out and was sitting on the front porch, and I got this weird headache. I like looked to the right, and when I did, I got this like crazy pain, and it wasn't a headache. It was the optical radial nerve. I know that now, but back then, I was like, okay, well, I'm done with that. I started panicking because I thought like something drastic had just happened in my head, and I called my mom and I was like, hey, look, I am sorry for everything I've done over the last couple of years. I'm tired of being lazy. I'm going to start going back to church because I think I know what my problem is. And I called my brother, who's a doctor, and he's like, well, if you had a brain aneurysm, dude, like you wouldn't be talking. And I was kind of like, yeah, well, I mean, still scared me enough to be like, hey, there's something wrong. And I mean, like, it was honestly like one of the most awkward things. And I mean, it felt like there was blood pouring into my face, like into my eyes and stuff. Like, it was just like this really weird sensation. And I walked into my roommate's room, and this is back when he and I still had a really good relationship. And I was just like, hey, I love you, and I'm really sorry that, you've had to witness, this broken version of me. Let's go to church Sunday, yeah? And he's like, yeah. And I don't think I slept for like 2 days. I was just so amped out of my mind to get back into church. Mostly because I just wanted to be, in the house of the Lord, because I knew, based off of how I had experienced life as a middle schooler and a high schooler, I was the most joyful and happy when I was, with the Lord. And I was like, man, I need to get back to it. And that first day at church service, I was sobbing, and I was just like, I don't even know why. Then the next Sunday, they were like, what's the word for the year? And we were playing Call of Duty. So resurgence was my word. And it's funny because you had resurgence, and I was just kind of like, well, I'm going to have a resurgence of faith. And
There you go.
It was crazy because it was very. The military changes people, even if you don't go to war. Um, I'm very standoffish for a long time, and I'm at this class. I'm at this church. I'm not digging anybody. Like, it's just not it. But I'm enjoying the preacher. And, so I'm like, I'll go to the service, but not the class. Then I met a girl, and I started switching my time at her church and then my church. And she didn't come to my church. I didn't ask her at that because it was a much further drive for her to come to mine than me go to hers. And I really started enjoying going to her church because it was a family, it was a community, and it was something that I had craved and desired for such a long time. And we broke up. I had some issues in my life legally, and she cut tail and run, and that forced me to basically take that commitment and go back to that church that I'd been going to, because I was like, hey, I want to go to your church full time. I like mine. I like the preacher. That's it. Well, it was at this time that the first mentor I've ever had in the church became the leader of my class, and he had asked me a question the first week, and then I was kind of like, he's the first guy to actually like talk to me, not at me. So I'll show back up the next week, and then the next week he was like, hey, what happened with that? I was like, he not only did he talk to me, he remembered something and is engaging with me. And fast forward a couple months, and I'm doing all these church events, and you see a genuine difference in me, and I'm actively seeking the Lord. I'm obviously in this channel this whole time, going through a lot of stuff. Which, real quick, before I keep going, the same night that I made the decision to rededicate my life, to Christ, I stumbled across a TikTok, which you guys probably all know where this is going. But I stumbled across a TikTok, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. What are the chances that, I stumbled across some Christian on TikTok the night that I'm like, I can't keep making these bad decisions. It's time for me to become a man and grow up. So I was like, all right, cool. I leave church that Sunday, and I get home, and I'm on TikTok again. And lo and behold, here's this guy again, and he takes his kid to some beach on Caldera on a Call of Duty map, and is praying with this kid. And I was just like, that's the kind of community I need to be a part of. And I joined the community. I mean, it's this community. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So I mean, a lot of you guys have experienced major growth with me, which has been super cool. But yeah, fast forward. Sorry, I just read Jacob sounds like a pyromaniac. Fast forward, and we're doing something called men's group. Wow, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And they have like this video. It's kind of like an advertisement for it. And I'm like, yo, there's my mentor up there on the video. So I text him, I saw you up there, Stud Muffin. And he goes, he replies, he's like, yeah, it's men's group Wednesday. I didn't even realize it was an advertisement for the men's group. I thought it was the guy for the church, like one of the guys who trains there or goes to church, and they were just advertising his gym. I had no idea that it was for men's group. And he's like, yeah, you should show up on Wednesday. And I was like, what time? He's like, 6:30. I was like, okay. And he's like, we'll get a workout in. Well, I was working at that time, so I didn't get there until like 6:52. And then he's like, show up, this time next week, and we'll work out. And I go to men's group, and I meet the owner of the gym, and he's like, you can train here for free until I say otherwise. He's like, I just want you to be around a bunch of godly men that, want to see you grow. And I've been going every week. I don't think I've missed a week I really don't even think I've missed a week since I started going.
That's awesome.
Excuse me. And it was just because I wanted to be held accountable. I wanted people to call me out on my crap, and I wanted to see what it's like to be a man and through Scripture and in the eyes of the Lord, and not this crap you see in media and what all these secular books tell you what a man is, and definitely not what liberals say a man is, because they don't even know what a woman is these days. But I go to all sorts of church events, like I seek it out actively, and I'm super excited about it every week. And I've made a lot of good friends. And it's gotten to the point that for the first time, going to church is a celebration. Like every Sunday, I'm so excited. Uh, I
Amen.
get up, like I didn't sing before. I'm singing at church, and I catch myself doing this subconsciously. Like I get there and there's songs I don't know, right? And I usually try to like learn them and like read them so I learn them for the next time. I catch myself singing subconsciously now. Yeah, like I've really opened up and like softened a lot. I pick on a lot of people in here. That's just the way I love people. Zach, generic story about joining C2C totally didn't happen to me. But yeah, man, I did Secret Church last week where we were at church on a Friday night from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m., which I mean it went over. But it's David Platt's Radical Foundation, and we went over the Book of Jonah, and I'm sobbing the first like part of it, like ugly crying, snot coming out of my nose, and yeah, man, I'm definitely changing like a lot, and it's really cool because this is what I wanted to be. Like I look back and I've told my mom, was like, it's exciting because I would want to hang out with me when I was younger, the me I am now, not the me that I was, for a couple of years. But I look at me and I'm like, that's the kind of guy that like I would want to be around, So it's super exciting. I also have a lot of great people in this Discord and in this community that cheer me on, and when I mess up and say the wrong thing, I get challenged on. So I'm super grateful.
Amen, dude. Thanks for sharing. That was great. Smitty, you got anything off of that? Wade was pretty comprehensive, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean he shared a lot.
Yeah.
Going back to when you were younger though, I want to know who was like in your family, who was the like you would consider the rock? Like if you needed something, who would you talk to? I know like for me it would be like my grandpa. I didn't really go to my dad. Your grandmother?
Yeah. My mom and I, we don't have the best. We love each other. Like that's my mama. I love my mom, but we don't have great communication skills. Our relationship's not super great. It hasn't been for close to 20 years now. She started going through like life changes when I was really young and just like stuck to that and has become like a defensive speaker. So like anytime I start with something, she's already assuming I'm going to say something else. So she's on the retreat and then push back. So there's a lot of stuff that is said that is an assumption on one side and total good intentions on the other, and it's misinterpreted. So I would call my grandmother just being like, you won't believe the conversation that happened today. Like I come in, hey mom, and she's cussing me out. And then my dad, we didn't really touch on that. My dad wasn't always the nicest guy. We're not really, because I don't want to bash the guy, so we're not really going to get into a whole lot. But let's just say that there's a certain word that starts with an A and ends in a B-U-S-E. So that was difficult growing up. So I couldn't confide in him. I couldn't talk to him or my mother about really anything. They never were really open and willing to give advice. My mom would always say something along the lines of, I don't know what to tell you, son. Or the advice you'd give me, she's like, I don't want to make you mad or piss you off. And then she would say something that was the opposite of what I asked for and would get extremely ugly about it. And then I'd be like, well, thanks, And then my older brother, he was very mean. Like if I coughed in the same room, he'd like spit in my face. Like just crazy. And then I have my younger brother that was break my PlayStation and get away with it. And I was never allowed to do anything about it. So I was just always like craving something to like fall back on. So I would always call my grandmother and talk to my grandmother. She was always my rock, My grandpa too, don't get me wrong. They're a tandem. It's not just her. I would call, she'd put me on speaker and I would talk to both of them. But yeah, definitely my grandma.
Awesome. Growing up, were you a Mayo kid? Mayo, Miracle Whip?
I didn't like either until boot camp.
Okay.
So boot camp, you're starving. like the entire time. And any amount of calories that you can add to your meal to get like to break that like disparity of food apart.
Mhm.
I was like, you know what? We have cheeseburgers at lunch today. Mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, relish, honey in the tea. You know, like it didn't matter. Whatever I could get my hands on. And I was like, yo, mayonnaise is not bad, you know, like, because I was that dumb kid at Waffle House who thought mayonnaise was Miracle or not Miracle Whip, but Cool Whip, and I ripped it open and squirted it in my mouth and was like, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. And like that altered my life.
Yeah,
I
that
couldn't
would
eat
do it.
mayonnaise.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
I even
Wow.
remember which Waffle House it was too. That's what's really crazy. I
Growing
remember
up,
which booth too.
that's insane. Growing up, was butter in the fridge or on the counter?
Fridge.
All the
In the
time.
fridge.
Now, last
Like,
week,
yeah, I didn't see fridge on the counter until I was in my mid-20s. I was like, that's weird.
so like growing up though, like last week when we were talking with Smitty and Alan, neither of them had buttered toast growing up.
Before I answer that, I'm going to answer Zach's question real quick. My favorite C2C member, honestly, it's probably Joe and Liz combined, and I don't say that disrespectfully.
That's a good one.
They were just there at a time I really needed somebody to be there in the Discord, and you know, I played Call of Duty with them. They mentored me collectively when I was trying to make my ex relationship work. So I mean, like collectively, they're my favorite. They mean a lot to me. They're very good people, and they were the first people in the community that I like befriended outside of the Discord. And yes, Miracle Whip is from the devil with a B, not a V.
Okay, so back to toast.
So we didn't do toast. I was never a toast kid growing up, unless it was cheddar cheese toast or cinnamon toast. Like my mom would put butter and
Cinnamon
then put
sugar.
it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, we had
And
what we called butter bread. We'd go and get some butter and we'd put it on there and we'd fold it up and eat it.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we did that too. Yeah, especially if like we had like leftover, like if we had like lasagna or spaghetti or something like that. You know, there's a loaf of bread on the table with just pads of butter, and so you're gonna mop up the rest of it just with butter and bread at the end of it.
Your friend did that with wasabi. That's unfortunate. Is it horseradish or real wasabi?
Smitty, you got one?
So with you being in the North Georgia mountains, have you seen Bigfoot before?
Gigantopithecus, as his scientific name is. No, I have not. I've never even gone out there to look for him.
We got two ends of the spectrum so far on that one, but yeah.
Is he real?
Gigantopithecus did exist at one point. The Geiger footage is very clearly a dude in an ape suit, though. So yeah, and he's also a known con artist that stole the camera. He didn't really steal it. He bought it on a bounce check and then was arrested for not paying for the camera. So like, yeah, no, Bigfoot hasn't been around in forever. And I straight up eat peanut butter too. It's okay, or butter. I do that too. Like sometimes if you have salted butter and you let it, it's just tasty.
What was the family car growing up?
Dad had a little red Blazer that went away. Then we had a Honda Passport that fit my big butt, my dad at the time who weighed close to 400 pounds, my mom who was around 300 pounds, my older brother and my younger brother all in the same vehicle, and it's a Honda Passport. So that thing was...
She's loaded down for sure.
Oh yeah, and then you had all our football gear and stuff, baseball gear, basketball stuff, you name it. And then once my dad made enough money, he bought the Suburban I'm currently driving.
Nice.
And then, yeah, so those three vehicles. My mom had a red or a burgundy Chevy Malibu. She ran over my bike with. Yeah, and yeah, that thing died on her.
Karma.
Run over my bike, see what happens.
Somebody, you got one?
Yeah. What was like your go-to meal growing up?
Pizza,
Pizza
pepperoni pizza.
From a
with
specific
pineapple.
place or
Just pepperoni pizza.
any from
Like
No pineapple.
was there a local place that you guys had that was like that was the
No.
go-to or
I didn't know. I don't like a lot of red sauce either. Like just cheese and bread and pepperoni.
Okay.
Some of these places they cake like the sauce on like that much. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
Too much.
but yeah, pizza was it. But my favorite cereal is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I had that 3 times a day, every day in boot camp. I had it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like no joke.
Nice.
I could eat it every day. I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Reese's Puffs is the best cereal, in my personal opinion.
Christian, you're
we gotta
doing
meet
a
you, dog.
Yeah, man. Honestly, bro. Also, cauliflower.
Zach, do your thing.
I got it. It's all right. You probably didn't know. It's fun. Now I have to do some. Now I have to do some editing. Unfortunately.
No, don't edit it. Leave that in there. It's Christian. It's
I
icy.
don't. I don't have his consent though. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's his fault. Turd.
Yeah, it's all right. He's all right.
Hey, buddy. It's good to see you, Icy. I haven't talked to you in ages.
If he gives me his consent later, we can leave it in. But
I don't think you can legally have his consent.
Oh, he's too young.
Christian, you can't talk right now, buddy. We're literally in the middle of a podcast, my guy. All right, back to it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. This went sideways, but that's all right.
No, I mean, when in doubt, just look at Big Bird and you'll smile.
Hold on. Let me get a timestamp for that. How far
That's
in are
me,
we?
by the way.
We're in.
Yeah,
We're
the
52
biggest bird.
minutes.
He's the biggest bird.
52 minutes in, so I can edit that out later.
It's all good, homie.
No, you're good. Wait, you're saying he can't give me his consent? Why would he not be able to?
I'm pretty sure he's under the age of 18.
Okay. Well,
like 99.99999%.
Yeah, then he can't.
0.8.
He says he's 18.
Christian's 18 now? Oh, okay, cool.
All right, Christian, do we have your consent to leave all of this in?
There you go.
Perfect. There we go.
You gotta do nothing.
We got it. We got it. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Yep.
And Russian accent. I am epic.
Yeah, we're good. So okay, so you were talking about pizza dinners growing up. What was the like did you have milk with dinner growing up? Was like that always typically on the table?
Yes. I didn't realize, or I didn't develop an intolerance to lactose until I was in my 20s. I got out of the military at 23. I was around 24. I remember I had Chinese food and I had a glass of chocolate milk, and I remember being like, the Chinese food upset my stomach.
It's crazy, actually, but yeah.
Yeah,
that combo,
dude, it's a legendary combo. People sleep on that stuff, bro. But chocolate milk and Chinese food.
The fact that you're like, it was definitely the Chinese food, not the combo. It was the Chinese food that did it. But yeah.
Well, the next, like a couple nights later, I had bought more chocolate milk because I'm fat, and I was drinking it, and like 15 minutes into it, my stomach, like I had really bad acid reflux, and my farts smelled really awful, and I was going boo boo a lot, and I was kind of like, oh, I can't drink milk anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, so I made like the immediate change. Like it was one of those like, I'll try lactose-free milk. It was good, but like I preferred almond milk. Like I drink almond milk.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So milk every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would drink a gallon a day if I could. And then like 24, I was just like, no more. My favorite home cooked meal, by the way, was lasagna.
Lasagna is great. Great. Yeah. Lasagna is also great, like cold pizza in the morning. I don't even need to heat it up. I'll just cut a slice.
I would disagree. I feel like if you don't heat up lasagna, it's sweet. It's hard to describe. It's just like the flavors don't mix well when it's cold. And
we might be eating different lasagna then. But
well, it's the sauce too. Some of the sauce is sweeter, and the sauce my mom used was sweeter. So I would heat it up, and then I would dump about a gallon of hot sauce on it and eat it.
Did your mom have a go-to like red sauce growing up? I'm assuming she's using just like a jar. By the way, you're talking about it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Like my mom always got
like not homemade.
No, my mom didn't do that from scratch. My grandma did, but my mom, no. I think she got traditional like Barilla, sorry, because it's Italian.
Okay, yeah.
But
yeah,
if you look, it has like 18 grams of sugar in it. So I mean, it's sweet sauce. I don't like when I'm eating meat, like any kind of protein. There's no I don't like ketchup.
Before you don't like ketchup on a burger?
Absolutely not. I think it's disgusting.
So what do you put on a burger?
Mustard and hot sauce.
I respect that. Yeah. Wait, are you having anything else? Are you having like lettuce, tomato, onion? Anything?
Tomato, no lettuce. Lettuce separate. It's like a barrier. It separates the burger from like the goodness.
Bacon,
of, like,
cheese.
No coleslaw.
Bacon's cool. Coleslaw's disgusting.
Cheese, no.
Cheese, yeah. I mean, if I could, I'd put every cheese on the planet on a cheeseburger.
I'm with you. Wait, before we lose Alan's question, Wade, look at Alan's question.
Where's it at?
Ketchup and ketchup only, period.
No. Alan wrote, Wade looks cool.
Wade looks cool. Smitty, Rabbit, y'all haven't changed a bit since the podcast. I got a question. Did you have a commitment letter, Georgia or Duke? If you had one, where you signed in committing to? So I'm not good at basketball, so I have to absolutely say go Dogs. It would have been a privilege to play under Coach Rick. He good Christian man. His downfall was that he was too good. He didn't discipline the players enough. But I would have loved to play under Kirby Smart. I like that kind of fire.
We have so many crazy comments in chat right now. Not cold lasagna, bro. Cold pizza is the best.
Fun fact:
I don't eat leftovers. Red. What?
That is.
See, that's not right. It's not right.
That's
usually leftovers is better than the original time.
Red egg on burger, of course.
Christian, I'm not gonna lie, I hate condiments. What kind of a take is that?
Do you guys like malt vinegar on your
fries?
Not. I mean, sure, if you want. I was gonna say tater tots.
Yeah. So good.
But fun fact: ketchup is actually Chinese in origin, and it was a fish tomato paste.
Interessante.
Learn something new every day.
Not gonna lie, potato salad is delicious. I do love potato salad.
If it's mustard-based potato salad, yes.
You just call it tomato jelly. You're gonna have to elaborate on that, Kim.
No, she's not wrong. Tomato jelly in America. She's not wrong. Yeah.
Wait. So that's what she's saying ketchup is?
It's basic. Ketchup in America is like so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jelly, yeah.
Fried egg on a burger. Yeah, I can get down with that. AO Wade, what makes a good cheese pool on a grilled cheese?
Cheddar for one. You can never go wrong. I do white cheddar. You have to do Munster and Gouda. Do Munster and Gouda with cheddar.
Yeah.
And when you pull it apart, Gouda almost melts like a gloop when it melts together. So like the string of it is like supernatural, and then the cheddar solidifies that part of the Gouda, and then Munster just has a profound flavor to it, so it adds to the taste of the dude. I think about this stuff. There's a reason I'm fat. And when you pull it apart, dude, like it just it's almost like that extremely goofy movie, like Leaning Tower of Pisa thing. So
yeah, that was a great movie. Let's just be upfront with that. But yeah, what's your spice tolerance? Dirtbag asked. You need to describe it in great detail.
Okay, so I have to take a Meprazole, which is just Nexium, because I have such bad acid reflux from not realizing that you have to take a break from spice and sour stuff growing up. So I have like damage because of that. So I have to take that all the time. If I do it and I remember to take it that day, because I'm like, oh, I'm fine today, I'm not going to take it. I can eat like Carolina Reapers and ghost peppers, and like I've taken a challenge where they dip it in like this concentrate. I had to sign a waiver and all that. Oh yeah, I love spice. I went to Wingstop and got their spiciest like thing and ate it like it was nothing. I've won wing challenges, the spiciest wings there are, like at Buffalo Wild Wings back when Zaxby's used to have their spicy challenge. Oh yeah, I love spice. Spice is great.
Nice.
Also, like spice isn't just heat. So my heat tolerance is very high, but I also enjoy different spices. Like when I cook, I put like cumin, I put rosemary in my spaghetti. When you're making like mac and cheese, put some mustard powder in it. It'll actually boost the flavor of the cheese.
Yep.
When I make grilled cheese, I use instead of butter to do the toast, I do mayonnaise because it has vinegar, and vinegar is an accelerant, so it makes it a snappier, flavorful crunch. Lemon pepper. I can bathe in that stuff. My favorite spice of all time is the Takis Blue Heat seasoning, though. That stuff, I could drink, dude.
All right, everyone in chat, we're gonna take a break from your guys' questions for just a few minutes, and then we'll get back to them. But because we wanna work through it here with Wade. What was your favorite pizza place growing up?
Pizza Hut, because the 90s and early 2000s Pizza Hut had like an all-you-can-eat like little buffet thing.
A little buffet.
Yep.
Top notch, man.
Gas.
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 And you could get like you can get salad and you can get pasta up there.
Salad, pasta. They also had the dessert pizzas.
Oh yeah, dude. And they used to have the worst toys, but you didn't care because you're eating that much pizza. Yeah.
Now wait, so also on that salad bar was often cottage cheese. What do you think about cottage cheese?
I've never had cottage cheese.
Wow. Okay.
Don't even.
I love it. I absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure I would love it. Honestly,
it's
knowing
great,
me, I'm sure
it's
I would
a great protein source. So.
Oh yeah.
But it was always on that buffet.
Comment.
You know, one of the biggest problems with America, aside from racism and everything else.
I will tell you a story about cottage cheese after the pod.
Yeah, okay.
And you'll know why
I'm already on the level of what you're currently about to say.
No, you're probably not. I promise you're not.
I promise you.
Don't stay tuned.
Okay. It'll just be the three of us talking. But
okay.
Yeah, no. That Pizza Hut buffet no longer being a thing.
Oh, it's a travesty.
I have trouble even saying the Pledge of Allegiance anymore based off of that. So, yeah. All right.
By the way, does everyone like the sparkle in my eyes?
You look amazing. Did your parents ever leave you somewhere on accident?
Never.
On purpose?
On purpose, for sure. Oh yeah. My dad is a walking book of proverbs you should never listen to. He would try to teach you a lesson, and it was never like a biblical lesson. It was always like, one of these days you're gonna have to do something for you, bull. You know, just like stuff that you'd be like, what? And I used to play hide and seek in Walmart all the time, in the old clothes racks that you could like hide in.
Yeah.
Before they turned them into the four corners ones that suck. And one time my mom, like, she straight up left and like drove. She didn't leave Walmart. Like, she left the store, but not the parking lot. Like, she drove to the other end where like the Party City was and waited. We called her from the store, and like we were at the changing rooms, and she was just standing there like tapping her foot, like, come on. Yeah.
You got one, Vinny?
Yeah. So I know Mr. Sirloin would like this question. Which do you prefer, the North or the South?
I like the cold, so I would definitely say the North. If you could take Georgia and put it in the North, like North Canada, that'd be about it.
Crazy.
No, like I keep my room.
I would agree.
I keep my room 60 degrees.
Yeah, but as two guys from the South, you're not thinking about, yeah, you can have a room that you make purposefully cold. But in the wintertime, when it is perpetually 20 degrees
I'm okay with
in the
that.
Philadelphia
Oh
area,
yeah, dude,
you
I'm okay
walk
with that.
outside, you're gonna be
I'll
mad.
drive.
No, I wouldn't. I was in boot camp.
That's fine.
I ended my boot camp career in my stay in A school, which is the school you go to after, in Chicago in the winter. I loved it. I adored it. I didn't mind. Excuse me. I didn't mind shoveling snow. I like being in like negative degree temperatures. Like I don't know. I adore it.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like I would rather have the heat all the time,
No.
and be able to cool off my house, because I want to step outside. It's sunny, 75, and then going with
My
my
perfect
day.
temperature is 65 year round.
I agree. I actually agree with that. Yeah.
But I'd be cool with the summers being like 65 and the winters being like 5.
All right.
You got one?
With you on it. Let's see. Okay. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
You guys ever seen the movie Clock Stoppers?
Nope.
It's about a guy who invents a watch that can stop time. Problem is, you continue to age. So I would like to have the ability to stop time without aging. So I could take in all the
That's pretty good.
yeah, like
You've clearly thought about that before.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like when you wake up in the morning and you look and you can see, because I wear contacts. I have like vision issues. And you see how beautiful the leaves look, and then the wind blows, and you get to like look at the sky and the painting that morning has to offer. Pause and just be in that moment. Like that'd be cool. Like all day. And then when I'm ready, I wake up from a nap and hit start, and then my day starts, and like great.
Cool. Smitty, you got another
one? Yeah, we'll keep it basic here. Sweet tea or unsweet tea?
Live in Georgia.
He's offended. All right, I got one for you, Wade. Have you ever been pulled over by the cops for a loud exhaust or tinted windows?
No.
Okay.
I have been pulled over plenty of times.
Yeah, we know that. What do you think of ranch dressing?
Blue cheese is far superior. The ranch dressing that is best is a Hidden Valley with bacon. Add a little bit of Texas Pete hot sauce to give it some flair. But
great answer. Have you ever been in a fight?
Multiple.
Care to share one of them, or?
8th grade, I was being bullied by a guy named Josh Haddock. He knows the story. I'm not afraid to talk to him, talk about it. Good guy, good friend of mine. He's bullying me just because he was that guy, thought that he was hot, couldn't be touched. And like 2 years prior, it was my first fight, and I beat the crap out of this kid. And I realized, like, dude, I'm like awesome. I can like hurt people. So like I had enough, and like I was like, all right, time to stick up for myself. And I remember I like borderline tackled, but I was on my feet. It was a takedown. It was a double leg, and then I got on top of him, and I busted. I have a cut on my knuckle now, but I have like a scar from where I busted his teeth out from behind his braces and busted his lip open, and yeah.
Good.
Okay, so after that, I walked up. I didn't realize I had his blood all over me. I had no idea. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm out of breath, because I just fought, and I'm gonna sit down in the bleachers because it was at my younger brother's football practice, and his dad was the coach of my younger brother's football team. And my dad's like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, I just beat someone's butt, expletive. And he's like, "I ought to ground you for it." And then he looks back and sees who it is. He's like, "Actually, here's $5. Go get you a cheeseburger." Yeah. And as the great Bill Engvall would say, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I get my cheeseburger, and then I go into the bathroom because he's like, "Hey, dummy, go wash your face off. You got the blood all over you." And that's when everybody's like, "Oh, that was awesome, dude. Great job, man. Now that was hilarious." You know, it's just like I didn't think it was hilarious. I didn't want to have to do that. I did not enjoy it. But I had to take care of what I had to take care of because he was hitting me in the face with limbs and branches and smacking me with like pine needle branches and stuff, and I was tabletopping me, just being extra. Well, my dad was like, you got to go talk to Greg. I'm like, yeah. Well, his dad like shook my hand. He was like, hey, I appreciate you coming out here and asking me. He's like, but if you asked me, he deserved it. He had it coming. And I was like, I wouldn't say that. And he's like, no, just leave it at that. Thank you. Thanks for coming out here and telling me. But yeah, that's the first. Oh crap! Like I guy was bigger than me. Wrestled the whole nine. Just one of those like.
Yeah. So based off of what you were just telling us, you did a Southern accent when you were saying like what they were saying, but you don't have one.
Yeah.
Just luck of the draw. Is that a normal thing? I don't know. You and Smitty can both speak to this, although Smitty has a Southern accent.
Yeah, Smitty has more of a Southern drawl than I do.
You buddy.
You can catch it in my voice from time to time. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever realized I had a Southern accent was when I met my buddy George, last name George, when I was in the Navy. He was like, yo, where are you from? And I was just like, Georgia, why? Bro, you're Southern. And I was just kind of like, no, I'm not. And then I called my grandmother, and my grandmother's voice, Mel, was, hi, it's Patty. I'm sorry I missed your call, but if you leave your name and your number, I'll call you right back. And I was just like, I'd never noticed how Southern that was. And I was just like, ugh,
That's crazy. Dirtbag said travel, but I'm sure that probably does play into it.
No, I've never had a Southern accent.
Okay.
I've had Southern words like, certain things like y'all and, but I just, growing up, I thought Southern accents were ignorant and stupid and for like dumb people. Little did I know that like intelligent people spoke Southern accents because it was an offset of or like a subsect of the traditional English, like hello. And you have certain vernacular that is like old Southern, like instead of I, it's I. Oh, darling, and I was like really drawn to that, but I obviously don't have that. I don't do that. So I like to enunciate words. Pronunciation is key. I don't want to leave room for error.
Sure. Yeah. I got a bunch more questions. I'm sure Smitty does too. So we'll, for the sake of time, try to rattle through some. Smitty, you got some for that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Is a hot dog considered a sandwich?
Yes. By definition, it is a sandwich. I've already done the research. I'm not going to get into it.
Okay. I got another one real quick.
Yeah. Please, keep going, Smitty.
Who do you like more, Rabbit or myself?
Say Smitty.
I've seen a movie with Smitty in real life. Smitty is one of my closest friends.
Time.
So, yeah, Smitty.
There you go.
Rabbit is very close. Very, very close. It's like 50 or 49.99.
Appreciate that, but go ahead again, Smitty.
I'll wait on that one. So if you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Peanut butter.
Really?
That's an interesting one, actually.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an eyebrow slit?
No.
I wrote that one in specifically for you. I could see it at some point in your
I've
years.
never even had an artificial part in my hair, dude.
Okay. I could just see like 13-year-old Wade just.
No, I did have frosted tips though.
I did too. I think we talked about this last week, but yeah.
I think that was a really like early 2000s, late 90s thing.
Yeah.
I also had like the flaming shirt with like the dragon flying through it. I thought it looked like Dragon Ball Z, dude. I love that show.
Or Double Dragon. You guys remember Double Dragon? The cartoon and then video game. good.
So fun fact about me and Dragon Ball Z, I know every character, I know every move, I know everything about it. Same thing with DC and Marvel comics.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
What's your favorite snack for when you're watching TV?
I don't have one. I don't usually eat when I watch.
Really? Like if
TV.
you're watching a game, you don't got like chips or like popcorn?
No.
Nothing. Really?
My whole life, popcorn's been the most consistent, but I mean that's been
Okay.
like with my family. It was never anything I did.
Okay.
No, give me a soda.
Okay.
I don't need to.
There you go.
I forget to eat sometimes, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'll do one more and then throw it back to Smitty. What would be like your normal like tip, like percentage that you leave at a restaurant?
Minimum 20. Doesn't matter the serve, like how bad the server was. Minimum 20.
That's classy. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I've worked in the food industry, so I know what it's like to not mean to be rude to somebody and just come off, in a pissy attitude.
Yeah.
Because of something that took place, and I know what it's like to need that extra $5. So yeah, no, I mean minimum 20%.
There you go.
And like for example, like if I have a $6 meal, I leave $5. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if it's something that cheap, I normally like if I sat down at a diner, I would probably do something similar. Yeah, anywhere from 3 to 5. Yeah,
$200.
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah. And what
I think it was like a $26 meal too.
And why did you where and why?
Waffle House, and because I knew her, trusted her, loved her, and she was hurt and needed some love. So
love it. Go ahead.
Awesome. What's your favorite movie franchise?
Lord of the Rings. I can quote all three.
Okay.
TV show. Followed by Player One. Favorite TV show, Peaky Blinders. Favorite anime, Dragon Ball Z.
Go ahead. When you keep going.
What was your favorite video game of all time?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay.
You're still up, Smitty. Keep going. You rattle through.
All right. So here's my big question for you. Have you ever pooped or peed yourself in public?
You want me to expound or
I mean, I think that yeah.
And pooped myself
if you don't want to,
public.
But
no, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I pooped myself several times in public. Sometimes you think you're going to fart and it's not that. And it's more than just liquid. Not a shark. Like sometimes you go to push a little bit and there's a nugget that comes out there. And then I peed myself in public as an adult because I had to do a drug test. And this is not recently. This is, I want to say, probably 19 years old. I had to do a drug test, and it was actually, I want to say, after MEPS, after my drug test at MEPS. And the Army Ranger that was stationed there, which of course hated his life because no Ranger ever wants to get stationed at MEPS. Like that's awful. He had me chugging water to the point where like I wanted to throw up. So like my bladder couldn't hold it anymore. I went, like I could not hold it anymore.
Okay. For the sake of rattling through questions, Smitty and I will hold our answers till the end for what he just asked. If we want to reveal both of it today. Smitty, you got more?
Yeah. So let's see here. Okay. So where would be if I was to pay you $1 million, okay, to visit anywhere in the world, right? Where would it be?
The Seychelles. It's off the coast of East Africa, about 500 miles north of Madagascar. Small group chain of islands.
Okay.
Can't
Now-
even see it. It's so small you can't even see. You have to zoom in on maps to see it.
Okay. Now, going off that one, where would you never visit, even if I was to pay you $1 million?
DC.
Yep.
Okay. I know that hurt somebody. Okay.
Okay. Did a teacher ever hit on you?
For that answer, California.
Okay.
It's just that if that person DC.
Growing up, did a teacher ever hit on you?
Okay.
No comment.
Okay.
Maybe this is for an off the podcast story. All right, we'll leave it at that. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it. Although I designed that one specifically for you, Wade. Just thought it would pertain. Didn't think it was gonna go here. Okay, as a kid, did you think it was illegal to turn on the car's interior light while driving?
No.
Okay.
I always thought it was stupid when I was told not to.
Yeah.
Because I could see from where I was sitting outside.
And then I got two more, and then I'll let Smitty go again. Will you wear pajamas in public?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you keep a pee bottle in the car for emergencies?
No.
Yeah.
I've gone pee in the car.
Okay. But it's
Like,
not
recently.
it's not a cognitive thought that you have. Okay. Yeah.
I would more likely have a pee bottle next to my bed than in the car.
Okay. Fair enough. Go ahead, Smitty.
Trying to look and see if there was any questions missed in the chat.
I got a bunch
I
more I
think,
can rattle through, but yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. We'll go read the chat and see.
Yeah. You come up with good ones from the chat, and
Before the chat, no, I don't know the episode of what
the
happened.
34th episode. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, someone said
Of course, I don't know
Yeah,
that.
that would be insane. Do you have a stuffed animal you sleep with?
It's in storage, but yeah,
Do we have a name?
Eeyore.
Is it actual like a donkey from Winnie the Pooh, or you just name it that?
It's actually Eeyore.
Okay.
I used to sleep
Now that I said it, do you miss him?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's more of a out of respect for what it means than like I love it.
Okay.
On deployment, my mom or my wife, not my ex-wife, gave me a penguin. She called me Mr. Popper. So I mean,
Do you use a wash rag in the shower?
I will, but not really. No, I use they have the loofahs. They have a loofah sleeve. I use the loofah sleeve.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Gotta exfoliate that skin.
Growing up though, like my family always had to be like, "Oh, do you need a wash rag for the shower?" So you'd get a towel, and then my mom would hand me like a wash rag.
No, I was very I won't say feminine. My dad just made me out to be feminine. I was very take care of my body and like skin.
Okay.
So I always used loofahs.
Okay. Yeah.
My dad tried to be like, "Boy, you use a wash rag in this house." I was like, "No."
Yeah. So like loofahs didn't come out until I was like popularized until I was like 10, which would make sense.
I never understood why women got all the cool stuff and dudes were just like,
right.
"Yeah, I use the same bar soap for my my boys, my face, my armpits." It's like, that's weird. Like I have 3 soaps in the shower right now for different parts of my body.
Yeah, 100%. Loofahs did not exist for forever, Ray. They 100% did not. Loofahs were not a thing when I was a kid. They had like sponges, that kind of thing, but anyways, how often do you buy new underwear, and how do you determine its time?
I buy new underwear almost every 2 weeks.
Really?
Yes, I'm not kidding, man. The military changes you, whether you've been to war or not, dude. You can never have enough underwear or enough socks. I buy compression shorts instead of like actual underwear. Like my come down
Those
to
are
my knee.
expensive though.
Cool, don't care.
Okay.
If the elastic goes out of the band or if there's holes, and even then, I'll still wear a pair of underwear with holes in them for years. I just threw away a pair the other day.
Have you or a member of your family ever falsely reported a birthday to get a free dessert at a restaurant? Both.
I've never done it for myself.
Okay.
But like my brother has done it for me. I've never done it for anyone. Like I've never done it, but people have done it for me just because it's his birthday.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I did that last year.
You got any more questions in and of yourself, Smitty?
I got two that maybe I'll ask towards when we wrap it up.
Okay. How do you like your steak cooked?
Rare.
Okay. Yeah. And what's your favorite cut?
Sirloin.
Wing sirloin.
Or New York strip. I like fat on the cut. If you cut it off and put the fat in your mouth, if it's done right, it melts. It's got all the flavor. Oh, stand by.
100%. What grocery store do you shop at?
Walmart.
Okay. How about growing up? What did your family shop at?
Kroger. It's just Walmarts are everywhere. You have to drive 10 minutes to get to a Kroger. You have to drive 35 seconds to get to a Walmart.
Yeah. How long will you wear a pair of jeans in between washing?
Good question. I had a pair of jeans from before I was in the military. I didn't wash them until 3 years after I got out of the military.
Yeah. Jeans will stay good for a long time. And then when you do wash them, all of a sudden they shrink a little bit or they're not the same. Yeah. I know that you know this one based on the military, but do you know how to tie a tie?
9 years between washes, Smitty.
No way. No.
Yeah. They were my lucky jeans, man. You don't wash lucky jeans, bro. The only reason I washed them was I didn't even wash them. I threw them away. It's because the zipper broke, and it wasn't just the teeth of the zipper. Like the actual stitching came undone, and the teeth broke.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that loofahs weren't a thing, Ray. I'm saying that they weren't popularized.
9 years.
No. So I'm assuming you know how to tie a tie, right?
Yeah, I know how to tie like most versions of a tie.
Yeah, I assume so. A military guy for sure. Yeah. And then Smitty, I'll let you go.
Personal, by the way. She's like, I googled that junk.
She did. She was going at me and be like, "This was not loofahs were not hanging in the store in CVS when I was 10 years old."
Okay, so some questions from the chat. So if you had to lose a finger, which finger would you lose?
My right pinky. No, I take that back. My left pinky. It's already broken.
So just go ahead and chop it off.
Yeah. I can straighten it out. It just doesn't stay straight. Like I broke the finger there and the tendon snapped, and like when I hold my hand up, like it's not an exaggeration.
Go ahead, Smitty. Keep going.
So how many pillows do you have on your bed currently?
I threw away most of my pillows in this move, man. At the height of before I moved out of the house,
what's your desire? Like like for you to sleep with at night, like
20. I slept at the maximum. I've had 13.
What are you doing with 20 pillows?
So I like to think that I'm a Viking king. Not really.
Someone just said this guy builds a throne.
Exactly what it is. That is exactly right. So yeah, like I sleep like that, and then I have something to cuddle on both sides, and yeah, I love pillows. I sleep with like 7 blankets too.
No, that's
Like,
why I go with 3. I like one behind my head, either side when you turn to clutch one.
I like the skinny ones that you can mold. I like the big ones that are like floofy. I like the My Pillow because of the patent. You're like my patent, Phil. I like those. I like the body length pillows. I like down pillows. Like, dude, it doesn't matter, bro. I like to be in a bed that is like, because if you really think about it, if you make more than $15,000, you're in the top 1% of the world in the history of the world. You know, so if I'm gonna make the money, I'm gonna respect the fact that I have the ability to do that, and I'm gonna be like, look, I'm sleeping like royalty because even the poorest person in America has it better than kings of old. So if I'm gonna sleep, dude, like I'm the princess in the freaking pea, dog. I'm gonna sleep with like 20 pillows, 7 blankets. You better believe it, man. I have a down blanket. I have a freaking fleece blanket. I have plush blankets. Like I have one for arms. I have ones for legs. Like, I don't care, bro. That's why I keep my room 60 degrees too.
All right. Secret time. The blanket that okay, so we have a king size bed. But my wife and I use different comforters. My wife uses the king size comforter. I use the twin comforter that my mom got me used at a yard sale before I started college.
What?
It is not lying to you. It was it if I were to have gotten it new, it would currently be 16 years old. But I got it
Really?
used from a yard sale. And it is my favorite blanket. It is tattered, torn, has been re-sewn. It's just, that's my blanket.
Is it tattered or tethered?
I think it's tattered.
Pretty sure it's tethered.
Can we get a confirmation on this?
Somebody looked it up.
Zach
Got
said,
another.
Zach said tattered. Oh, someone's McLovin said tattered or tethered.
Okay.
Okay, so it's tattered. Okay.
Yeah.
Tethered means to mend together. Tattered means worn. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Okay. Yeah. It's like growing up, I used to say mannerism instead of mannerism because mannerism is.
Yeah, no, I have a bunch of words that I still don't know. Like, I avoid saying them because I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Like, I've been corrected so many times where it just, gets stuck in your head and like, screw this up. Smitty, you got another one?
Yeah. So, what was your or what's your favorite Olympic event to watch?
Track and field.
Okay.
Love it. I love watching people run. There's something so majestic about it, dude.
Got another one.
Sure.
Is chocolate milk artificial?
No, dude, it comes from the brown cows.
You got any more, Smitty?
I think that's it.
All right. Okay. Well, so obviously Wade has been another phenomenal guest, but you have to answer one more question before you go.
Oh wait, hold up. I want to ask him one.
Go ahead.
I got. We're about to wrap it up.
I'm sorry. That was
so I got 2. What's one idea that you think the majority of people get wrong?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. Christian said something. Wait, brown cows exist, and it kind of broke my brain. Say that again.
What's one idea that you think the majority of people get wrong?
That liberalism works. That communism and liberalism works together. Like that is a thing. Modern day liberalism is good. It's inherently evil.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Robin? Before my last one?
Say,
no. I'm not going to start him off. So
we can go another hour.
I know we're not to poke the bear at. Go ahead, Smitty.
Hold on.
Okay. So Wade, what is your proudest accomplishment?
So save far? Somebody. Yeah.
I share?
Jacksonville, Mayport, Florida. If anybody lives in Florida knows Florida, that there's not actually a percentage of chance that it'll rain. It's a percentage of of your day that it's going to rain. So we're in Jacksonville. We're painting the ship. We're in the punt boat, which is a little John boat. And right, yep, it's raining now. It comes monsoon, dude. And my buddy Derek is in he's in the punt, and you learn the bare minimum of how to swim in boot camp, and it's just enough to get you out of boot camp. You don't learn to swim in boot camp. A lot of people didn't know that, or don't know that. He can't swim, and he had his K-Poc life preserver, which is the orange, like foamy life jacket. It's K-Poc. He had it on incorrectly, and it slid off of him. And if you guys ever see pictures, you can even look it up. You have ships that are moored to a pier. They have these rubber things. You can call them bumpers, or you can call them a Yokohama. I don't know why we called them Yokohamas, but we did. Well, under this, on those, are a bunch of barnacles. And in a port, you have a bunch of really nasty water. It's poop and pee mixed with something called CHT, collection holding transfer is what that stands for. And you have fuel discharge, and just all sorts of just nasties. Well, he falls out of the boat, or no, my bad, he doesn't fall out. The boat sinks because it doesn't matter if you put, we called it monkey crap, expletive there, but it's like paper mache that's supposed to like blot the hole so it doesn't. Well, anyways, you have to pail out the water. Well, because of the rain, you couldn't pail out fast enough, so the boat sank enough to come back up because it had some buoyancy to it. Josiah Correa was BM3. He was a super sweet guy. He's from Hawaii. He gets out just fine. Morrill gets out just fine. Marable does not get out, and he can't swim, and he's going under the Yokohama. And he's getting cut up by the barnacles, and all of a sudden this K-Poc comes up, and Correa jumps back in the water. Everyone's telling him not to. He doesn't care. He jumps back in. He can't find him. Well, Derek comes up, and the very first thing I do is I didn't jump in the water. I had the opportunity to get on the ladder, and I got on the ladder and I grabbed the line that goes to it, and everybody's screaming, "Oh, do this, do this, do this!" I looked in his face, and I was like, "Derek, grab the rope," and he grabbed the rope, came over, and then we ended up getting like 3 people to get him out of the water, and it was just that connection, that instant, like he trusted me with all of his being for me to be like, "Dude, I got you. Come on." And yeah, it was pretty nuts. We both had to get hepatitis shots and all sorts of stuff because that water's just nasty.
That's crazy.
Mm.
Got anything else, Smitty?
That's it for me.
Yeah. So like I said, Wade has been phenomenal. So thankful that you came on, brother. Took some time to do that. But we have to close out with one last and final question. Do you call it dinner or supper?
Dinner. Supper's for poor people. No, by definition, supper's for poor people. Like, I'm not kidding.
I want to ask for the rationale. I think it's better if we don't get it. So,
yep.
Leave
it at that.
Again, thank you so much, dude. That was great. I'm going to stop the recording right now. This has been the second ever live episode of Supper with the Squad. So thank you all. But yeah, guys, stick around afterwards, and maybe Wade will stick around and answer some more questions for everyone. But
Like dirtbag.